No excuse, no BS, life coaching focused on results, not your feelings.
I started my company due to the trials I went through fire, through darkness, my whole life, really. I'm dyslexic. I have ADHD. It's never going to amount to anything. You're going to be just like your father. You're dumb. I should have seen it sooner. But as I said, I'm a stubborn man. It took something of that severity to really smack me in the face and say, wake up, Will. Look in the mirror. We're the only ones holding ourselves back. The decision and the choice is up to you. And most importantly, if you're willing to put the work in to do it. It's easy to be comfortable. It's hard to be great. My definition of greater is being able to look back 6 months, a year, and say,
my goal here is to uncover those moments that made my guests greater, so you can find the courage to step boldly into your journey. Let's jump in. Today's episode, we have Will Smith. Not the Will Smith you're thinking of, but founder and life coach at Lifestyle Coaching Academy, which is a no excuse, no BS life coaching that is focused on results, not your feelings. What I heard was F your feelings. LifestyleCoachingAcademy.com. And we'll get into how you can find them. But before we get there, I need you to introduce yourself because I don't feel like I did you justice, Will. From where you were to where you are, we're talking about that messy middle of your entrepreneurship journey so we can encourage those entrepreneurs that are being misled by all of the social media BS that's out there.
Oh, a lot of people are misled. That's for sure. I'm Coach Will, founder and life coach at Lifestyle Coaching Academy, the creator of the New Me Initiative, which is a 90-day, no BS, action, results focused coaching program that takes you from the life you have to the life you want in again, no BS type of way.
I love that, man. So what's the story of where you started that most people don't know?
Well, I'm very open about my journey. I'm very open about my struggles because I am a strong believer that when you are transparent like that, people understand you more. But not only that, there's so many people, as you mentioned, on social media that make it seem like that becoming that new you, living that great life is so simple. And it's not. I started my program, I started my company due to the trials that I went through. And it was through fire, really. Through fire, through darkness. I know that's kind of an oxymoron there, right? Fire brings light. But hey, I mean, it was a dark, dark time finding myself physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all of the above.
And I know you had mentioned like what that journey was. Was there ever a moment that you had felt overlooked or underestimated?
Oh, geez, my whole life, really. And, I know a lot of people can say that, but, it's, we've all seen that picture and heard the story of the guy trying to push that heavy boulder up the hill, sliding back down and sliding back down. That is an image that I can relate with and relate to the fullest. I was born into a home of a single mother with two older siblings. We were poverty bound, welfare kids. My father was incarcerated when I was 2 years old, and he's been there ever since. So I never had that father figure to really show me how to be a man. And, I had a mother and two sisters. I was, from the youngest age possible, the man of the house. It was, so from there, my mom, she was, I love my mother. She's a great woman. I believe that she did her best until she snapped herself. And when she did that, she got selfish and focused on herself, abandoned us a few times, ward of the state throughout the young childhood, till in and out of foster care until I was emancipated at the age of 17.
Wow, man. That's a lot deeper than what I knew.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, some of the most beautiful, and I can relate partially with the not having a father, raised with women, pushing that boulder uphill. I'm sure a lot of listeners can right now, and it's more common than we realize. Like the story of beautiful people with beautiful hearts to serve that are born from something that you wouldn't believe would turn into this. Were there any limiting beliefs that you had to overcome, or like a story you had to stop telling yourself in order to move forward in spite of this story that you've just told me?
Yeah, on top of that story, I'm dyslexic.
Hmm.
I have ADHD, so the biggest thing is you're never going to amount to anything. You're going to be just like your father. You're dumb. You're never going to make something of yourself. And that I was told as far back as I can remember, of about 9 years old.
Yeah.
That's what I was made to believe. So growing up, and even when in my late teen years before I was emancipated, it was a, a struggle mentally to overcome that. And it really wasn't until I had my son, or at least when I found out that my ex was pregnant with my son.
Hmm.
And when I found that out, I said, you know what? I may have never had a role model to show me how to be a good parent,
Hmm.
to show me how to be the man I'm supposed to be. But I sure as heck had a lot of people to show me what not to do.
Hmm.
And if there's one thing that I'm going to make a promise to, is I will always be there for my children, no matter what.
Amen, man. And that's beautiful. Again, it's relatable, bro. Um, trying to father as a fatherless man with no guidance, no role models, like, um, it's it's a challenge, but not a lot of people accept it. Not a lot of people like lean into that. So I guess the next question I would have is like, who or what taught you the biggest lesson on this journey, um, to becoming?
I would have to say it's my eldest son.
Hmm.
I've had a lot of figures throughout my life, but it was when I first held him,
Hmm.
when I first saw him and seeing him grow. Um, I wasn't the best father to him. He's 17 now. I wasn't the best father, but I didn't know how to be. But he taught me how to become the father and the man I am today.
Hmm.
It was every step of the way, every action with that. There wasn't really a big role model I had growing up. Now, I had a few people that taught me hard work and work ethic, which was great. I was doing construction when I was in my teens, make some side money. Um, but it was really my eldest son, after he was born, and just raising him. And I didn't see him for a few years in his young years due to conflict that his mother and I had.
Hmm.
And then when he was 6 years old, I ended up getting custody of him.
Hmm.
And I was the primary caregiver, the custodial parent. And up until about a month and a half ago, he just moved back in with his mother because as a young man, he wanted that decision. And instead of having resentment for me, I said, I'd rather you learn lessons now while you're still young than learn them when you get older. And it's if you're a young man now, in the eyes of the law, you do something, shady, you're going to be charged as an adult.
Right.
So who am I to? You're not hurting yourself in an aspect that's going to be detrimental for the rest of your life. At least I don't believe so. So why
Mhm.
not let you go and learn those lessons?
Mm. Sounds like you naturally transitioned into that coaching as a parent of a teenager.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that definitely helped. With the 3 years ago, I wasn't. I yelled at him a lot, especially growing up. I'd say the thing that really has me look back to becoming the person I am today, and what hurts the most, honestly, what breaks my heart more than anything, is I would yell at him when I was younger.
Mm.
When he was younger, 23, 24, 25 years old, I didn't know any better. I
Right.
knew what I was taught. And although I didn't like it, I still fell in the same footsteps as I was in.
Yeah.
And I still, to this day, I can see his face as clear as day when he was just this young 7-year-old kid, and I would raise my voice, and the look and the scared on his face.
Mm.
It's a pain that I feel to this day that I never want anybody else to feel.
Mm.
I never want him to feel again. And that look haunts me.
I get that, man. I was 17, 16 when I met my ex-wife, 17 when we, she got pregnant and just we decided to get married. So many things happened between 16 and 19 that it was like, whoa. Um, I had two kids. My son was born like 11 days after my 18th birthday. I'd graduated, 9/11 happened, like all this stuff back to back. Had started college and just was not ready. Was not ready. I didn't, yeah, it was wild, man. But I can totally get that. Like when you're like, my son came to me, I want to say he was 16 or 18, maybe 19, one of those teen years, and said, "Hey, man, I just want to say, like, kudos to you for having two of us by now and, like, really, like, holding it down, working, all these things you did. Like, I didn't realize, like, how much you actually did because he can barely do what he's supposed to be doing at 19. It was 19. And here I had two kids and I was working and married and all these things that just, I didn't even think about it till he said it. Yeah, I guess I did better than I thought I did. But still, those times where like you lose your cool or you lose your apartment and your whole family has to go through it with you because you weren't prepared and
Yeah.
like you're forced to grow up. Um, it is the best teacher, but it's not fair, right? It's not fair to bring people through a lesson that you probably should have learned when you were single.
Yeah. Amen to
um,
that.
yeah. So what do you say? What would you say was like the first small action that created momentum towards a different life?
I'm a stubborn man. So it wasn't a small action. It was definitely a life-changing action. And um, that was, me being real drunk.
Mm.
I don't remember a family vacation. And I left the day early because I was just disgusted with myself.
Mm.
I woke up that next day like, how did I even get to bed? Like, wait a minute. And I was just so devastated, honestly.
Yeah.
I We went to an indoor water park in Ohio. Um, it was myself, my wife, my son, and my in-laws. And I I can't tell you the day before I left. I can't tell you really what happened. I don't know.
Mm.
I just, a lot of whiskey is what I do know.
Mm.
But remembering not so much. And that was really, when I woke up that next morning, was really that spark that hit me.
Mm.
And I was so devastated by that. I left early. I said, I just need to leave. I didn't tell my wife what was going on. I didn't mention it to anybody. It was about 3.5 hour drive home. The
Mm.
whole time I'm just kind of having a conversation with myself, like, dude, what is wrong with you? This is
Mm.
not who you want to be. You've
Mm.
seen this when you were younger. This is not who you want. This is not the role model you want to be. When I got home, my phone went off. It was like shortly before I got home, but I don't look at messages while I drive.
Mm.
And after I got home, I looked at this message of an acquaintance, a business associate or a business acquaintance that I um, just saying, hey, along the lines of, hey, um, luckily I have tough skin, not a lot of people do.
Hmm.
You really need to put yourself in check. What you said to me is not okay.
Hmm.
And it was a little bit more stern than that, but that's the premise of it. And I'm like, what? I'm already upset from the night before, the whole day before. So I go and I look in the messages and I realize that, wow, I sent a really nasty, uncalled for message, multiple paragraphs long, kind of uh, being a being a big a-hole
Hmm.
and being degrading to an
Wow.
extent. Something that I would not have done. I wasn't it wasn't my character deep down inside.
Right.
And so it was like I got a front hand with the vacation and then a backhand with that message. It was just that front hand, backhand, boom, boom.
Hmm.
And I cried in my chair. I sat down in my recliner and I cried. I didn't know what to do. And I just knew that I was lost. I knew that I had to do something. And that was real. That was the catalyst that really had me change. I should have seen it sooner, but as I said, I'm a stubborn man, and it took something of that severity to really smack me in the face and say, "Wake up, Will."
Hmm. That kind of covers both the action and the transition. Like there was that moment that changed it all for you is the front hand backhand. I like
Yeah.
that. Life will do that to you a lot. Um, so you knew it was time to leave the old behind when you got the front hand backhand.
Mhm.
Now, on the other side of that, what's a daily habit or system that helps you to keep moving now?
I would say that the biggest one that helps me keep my peace. Um, I don't raise my voice every day anymore. I hardly raise my voice at all.
Mm.
And I would say the thing that helps me on a daily basis would be my prayer and meditation.
Mm.
I think that's my daily practice that really keeps me grounded. And of course, we're all humans. There are some days that are better than others. Um, but yeah, that right there is what really keeps me centered and grounded is my prayer and meditation, having that moment of peace spiritually. Some days I just need to zen. Other days I'm speaking with God.
Mm.
And between those two things really is helps me keep my peace. Yeah.
Peace is so underrated, man. Uh, a lot of people are trying to move from this place of chaos and like constantly being busy and doing and getting. And I watched a TED talk last night about um, stop saying you're crazy busy.
Mhm.
Um, and then prioritize your life like ER doctors do or ER people in the ER do. They have, code black where there's nothing you can do about it and it's sad, but, there's nothing you can do. That person is either deceased or, they're not going to make it. And you have red, which is it's an emergency and it's life threatening. You have yellow, which it's an emergency, but it's not life threatening. Then you have green, you know, they're just noisy, but there's nothing wrong. They're just not comfortable. And the way we operate is everything is code red. Everything takes precedence and priority, and we're crazy busy, but nothing's getting done. And the peace, if you can move from a place of peace, everything just kind of works itself out. So, um, it's beautiful that you mentioned that. And I'm noticing like the main differences between the people that are successful and the people that aren't is successful people have some kind of grounding in some kind of spiritual principles, some kind of deity that they believe in, higher power, right? Um, and since you're mentioning the Bible, it says it is not good for man to be alone. So we need community. And that takes us to the next. I didn't mention the letters of the greater framework before this, but the second E is empowering community, like empower your network. So a two-sided question. So who empowered you when you couldn't see it in yourself? And then how do you empower others now?
The one that empowered me was, and I'm going to name drop her. The girl that business acquaintance that sent me that message of, hey, not cool what you're doing. Her name on social media is Red Romina.
Hmm.
And
Wow.
yeah. And she was the big turn point. You know, outside of me seeing myself, seeing what I sent her, it was the way that she responded. And I do, even to this day, I give her credit. I tell her at least once a year, hey, thank you. Thank you for that, because I don't know where I would be without that response. And she didn't have to give me the respect that she did.
Right.
You know, it was how she responded to me. How she responded to that situation really tossed me back. And so I would have to give her the credit for shining the light on me and what I needed to do. And the second part to that question, I'm sorry, I don't remember. These two parts there.
And how do you empower others now? Like, how do you take that respect that was, she didn't match the same energy you gave her? How do you take that and empower others now?
I teach them by showing them through action. And I am open about what I've gone through. I am open about the horrible person I once was. And I show them through action, through accountability, self-accountability, and that bit of determination of wanting to change on how it's possible. But I'm not just, get it done, drill sergeant. Yeah, I mean, that's me, but I also understand what it's like to slip and fall, because it wasn't an overnight change for me.
Right.
I had to break those old ways and learn new ways to replace those with to get to where I am today. It's not an overnight success. If that was the case, we would all be successful.
Right. Overnight success is funny. It seems like overnight success, but people don't realize it was like anywhere from a 10 to a 20-year night.
Oh yeah.
And that's beautiful. So, where do you do that at? I know you have this lifestyle coaching academy. Is that where you empower your people?
Yeah. As well as on social media. Everything that I teach, I put out there for free. It's with my content that I put on YouTube, to the posts that I put on Facebook, to the reels that I share on Instagram. It's all of the above. And practicing what I'm preaching, sharing the trials that I'm going through even to this day. Yeah. That's how I empower people. And then when people that want to take that action and that need that guidance, I would say, reach out and ask how they can do more. And I have a private community that I host where, as a community, we help one another out. And that's where we really dig in deep. It's no longer just kind of, this is what's happening, this is what I'm going through, this is how you should help yourself, these are the habits you should have. It's how do we implement those habits? How do we really break free from that old version of ourselves to become that new version, to find that peace in our life, to successfully move forward?
Sounds amazing, man. It's a lot easier to grow in community than it is to grow in silos.
Yeah.
So good on you for actually creating a space like that for people to, not everyone can handle the drill sergeant, but there
Mhm.
are those people that need it. And so thank you for being you.
Thank you.
uh, I've had to, and I don't know if I've had to, I think I've allowed myself to just kind of water myself down. I used to be the drill sergeant. I can still do that, but I've leaned more heavily into the empathy. And I think it's killing me in business because there's no room for feelings when money's involved. It's weird. That's what it feels like. It might be, but you know, there's this thin line between a paying client and someone who has basically been put in the friend zone and just expects something, right? Um,
I think you said it best right there. I really do. There's once you put somebody in that friend category, almost every single time, and I'm not gonna say it's with everybody, but the high majority of people, like, oh, we're friends. You can't just do that for me. Oh, you're friends. You can't just do that for me. But what people don't realize is if you're my friend and you want to support me, then I wouldn't be giving you a discount. I wouldn't be handing you stuff out for free. That's not support. That's not supporting me. That's not helping me grow my business.
and it
That,
doesn't help them.
no,
I I have hard drives full of stuff I've downloaded for free and things I've gotten for free. You think I've ever looked back at it?
hardly ever.
As every lead magnet I pick up, I just give my email. They give me the lead magnet. I never go look at it, or I go look at it and it's a wall of text that looks like it came from ChatGPT, and I close it. And then after like 3 or 4 emails in the next 2 to 3 days, I unsubscribe because I'm like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
So if you don't pay, you don't pay attention.
You got to have
And
some skin in the game.
yeah, what is it? There where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. We're not charging people because we need money. I mean, it's nice. It helps us keep going, but really I need your heart in it. And
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many people I've helped for free that have done nothing with it. And when there are the people that do something with it, they get some kind of success and then they'll shout out the people they paid. And it's like, okay, well, I'm not doing anything for free anymore. Or they won't
Yeah.
shout out, they won't shout anyone out, or they'll get paid and they won't pass on. That's probably my fault. I should have had something in writing, but it's just kind of discouraging. But
We think that people are going to be as generous and as helping and as loving as we will. And we believe that because that's what we would do if we were in that position. And most people aren't like the uniqueness of our individuality. Most people aren't going to do the same, and it hurts and it digs at us so much, again, because we would have treated the situation different. And that's
yeah,
where the true bother comes.
yeah, yeah. But this is kind of coming into that last letter of the greater framework, which is resilience. Um, you've got to have resilience in the face of setbacks, and every setback is going to teach you something. It's almost like you need the setbacks to get that thicker skin and be resilient, because this is just the beginning, right? We're just getting started on this journey. It only gets different from here. I'm not going to say it's better or worse. It just gets different, more challenging, different level, different devil. Uh, with that being said, man, how do you think resilience has shaped the way you lead today?
Um, well, at first, anytime I had a setback, anytime there was a failure, and I put failure in quotes because I don't believe in failure anymore, I would say, well, there it is. Why am I doing this?
Hmm.
Why am I doing this? I'm just going to give up. I was so fast to give up on everything.
Hmm.
Anytime there was an issue, I was just so quick to say, forget this, I'm done.
Hmm.
And it was a change of mindset. It was realizing that each time that had a setback or a failure, it was just a stepping stone in the right direction. And it's something that I teach my son is, if you learn something from that process or from that failure, it is not a failure. If you learn something, if you can know how to make it different next time so you do not make that same mistake. The only time it's a failure is when we're repeating the same mistake over and over and over and over. That's the only time that we're failing, because obviously we're not learning from that situation.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And fail is an acronym for first attempt in learning. I learned that from Stephanie, right? Or she reminded me of it. I've heard it before, but you remember the most recent. So
yeah.
It's like you said, if you didn't learn anything from it, which you always will learn something, there's always a lesson to be learned in anything that happens. It's either a lesson of what to do more of, what not to do, or what to do differently. Right. And thank you for sharing that. So to wrap up, I got these last 3 questions. Because we've gone through the whole greater framework, and I mean, it's all contained in a story, right? Your story is your greater. But I want to ask you, what is your definition of greater?
My definition of greater is being able to look back 6 months, a year, and say, wow, I've grown. I've progressed. And to me, that's greater. It's not staying stagnant.
It's so good to look back and say, wow, I've grown. I'm not stagnant. And that's beautiful. And if someone watching this or listening to this feels stuck right now, what is one step they can take today, or one word of advice you would give them?
Look in the mirror. We're the only ones holding ourselves back. And we have every ounce of energy and power in our bodies to change any circumstance or predicament we're in. And I go a little deeper on this. If we look at the negative that we have going on, if we look at the things that are holding us back, if we look at the problems and the issues that we're having in life, and we follow that breadcrumb trail all the way back, it all started with something that we did. So no matter if it's positive or if it's negative, we are the only ones that we can hold accountable for our life.
Amen. Once I become the problem, I'm also the solution. Or once I can accept that I am the problem, I also become the solution. But if something on the outside, a people, place, or a thing, person, place, or thing needs to change in order for me to change, I'm powerless. So looking in the mirror and accepting that we are the reason, ultimately, no matter how far that breadcrumb trail traces back, we made a decision or we took an action on a thought or feeling we had, and we caused that. That's beautiful, man.
Yeah. So I mentioned that my father's been incarcerated since 92, my whole life, for 33 years.
Wow.
I do have a distant relationship with him, but I was about 14 or 15 years old, and he left me with one piece of advice that I will never forget. And I was telling him how the situations I was in, it's so-and-so's fault, it's this person's fault, I rose my voice because that person, I did this because this person. And he said, stop. He said, look, how did he put it? He said that, oh man, now I'm losing it. I'm brain farting there.
You'll recall it right when you need to.
Oh yeah. It was there and then it wasn't. Okay. He said that, he goes, this is what he said. He said, but what did you do? And either I yelled or I got into a fight, whatever it was. And he said, but if you didn't do that, the situation would have been different.
It's so simple, it hurts.
And that's a piece that has stuck with me. It's stop looking, his exact words were, stop looking at what somebody else did and only focus on what you did.
Stop being the victim and start being the victor. Oh man, somebody just got saved today. If they'll accept it. If they'll accept it, because there's a lot of people I know, it's never their fault. They never did anything. It's always someone else is the reason why they're where they're at, and they either don't have anyone or everyone's against them or someone. There's always something to blame. I heard something when I was in this program, and it was all an addict needs is food, water, and someone to blame. And it's funny looking back because I didn't realize that that's what I was doing until I saw it in other people. And the only way we can see something in someone else is if we can only recognize what we are. So to see it in someone else and, oh, that's disgusting. And then look in the mirror and be like, yeah, you do that too.
Yeah.
Or have your, one of your mentors point out, it's kind of funny. It's like the pot calling the kettle black. And you're like, ouch.
Oh, yeah. And I know that because I was there.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Yeah. I was there.
So where can people connect with you and your work, man?
Well, you can head over to lifestylecoachingacademy.com. That'll give you a little backstory on myself. It will let you know a little bit more about the program. My contact email there. You can look up on Linktree Lifestyle Coaching Academy. That there will take you to the community. That'll give you links to the website. That'll give you links to my Calendly, as well as all my social media platforms.
So it's Lifestyle Coaching Academy and not Coach Will or Will Smith.
Yep. Huh. It's something that I want to leave after I'm gone.
Yeah, that's good.
It's hard to leave my name other than to my kids.
Yeah.
So
I never thought about that.
Yeah, it's my whole goal with the movement that I'm trying to make is in 50, 100 years from now, Lifestyle Coaching Academy is still alive and is known as the leader of the industry.
It's a mighty aspiration, Will, but I believe you can do it because you believe you could do it.
Yeah.
Man, this is good. Is there any last words, any other topics you think we should address before we close it out, man?
Yeah, I'll leave one statement. I'll leave one little bit of wisdom. No matter how you're raised or where you come from, you can always do better. Just because you were brought up XYZ way doesn't mean you have to live that way the rest of your life. The decision and the choice is up to you. And most importantly, if you're willing to put the work in to do it. It's easy to be comfortable. It's hard to be great.
And just 2 more letters to be greater. Well, thank you everybody for tuning into this wonderful episode of The Greater Journey. Please go follow Will at the Lifestyle Coaching Academy on all platforms, lifestylecoachingacademy.com. Don't forget to share this episode with someone who you think it can help. And we will see you in the next episode. Thank you for tuning in.